I want to hear what Stephen A. Smith has to say about TNT dropping the ball. That's a pretty big claim.
Resistance that they gave in reaching a new deal. Matter of fact, according to my sources, guess what? Adam Silver, the commissioner, talked to the honchos at Warner Brothers Discovery before a deal was agreed upon weeks ago, basically letting them know, hey, you need to match. Here's where we are. And there was a bunch of hemming and hawing. See, that's why Barkley's been going off. Because he knew and still knows it never had to come to this. Of it. Let me tell you what you make of it. Number one, anybody who can get their hands on Barkley, Shaq, Kenny Smith, and Ernie Johnson should do it, even if it's ESPN. Because, yes, I cover the NBA, and I think I do a pretty damn good job of covering the NBA. But those brothers are phenomenal, and they're all my brothers. And I root for them every day, all the time. They are a treasure and a tribute to the league itself.
Now, apparently, there's some credibility to what Stephen A. Smith said. A lot of credibility. One, there is some legal action being quote unquote taken against them, and I'll read, their statements or whatever the case may be, in a minute. But ESPN has been reported as to going after the inside of the NBA crew, all of them. So I know Chuck said he'll be a free agent and retiring and all that other stuff like that. But apparently ESPN is going after all of them. I know Bezos has a lot of thoughts on the NBA media and what's going on right now. You think TNT dropped the ball here?
I think so, in my opinion. If what Stephen A. Smith is saying is true, I just feel like they thought they just had it in the bag when there's clear competition out there. Now I do believe like TNT is still relevant in other sports as well, but I don't know. I think my focus is just like what are the different things that Amazon is going to bring to the table, as opposed to like what could have happened if TNT stayed. Because I feel like if TNT stayed, at least as a viewer, as a consumer, I don't think much would have changed, to be honest with you. But with Amazon being in the fold, for better or for worse, I do think some big changes are coming, though. So
big changes are definitely on the way. As a part-time WWE fan, I know you're gonna ask how that's relevant, but like when the production got changed over there, people thought it was just like the most microscopic shit, and the next thing you know, the product just looks way different camera angles, different presentation, announcers, all this shit like that. So like I'm telling you, hot take, I guess, which it shouldn't be hot. Production is going to be significantly different. It's going to present it different. It's not going to feel as nostalgic, but over time you're gonna be like, oh, this shit kind of fire. And or ass. Being said, for me, was it a fumble? The basketball fan in me, the person that only turns on TNT post game or during the game to watch inside the NBA is gonna say yeah, because I don't know what the fuck they can refill that slot with, whether it's a new up and coming NBA show or just an entirely different sports show, or hell, I mean, fuck, you gonna buy a reality show? I don't know, but I mean, reality is TV in a business like TNT probably is something that like you can halt the wheel, but the wheel's going to keep turning. So I think over time it probably isn't going to hurt them too badly. But initially, yeah, for sure.
I got a question for Damo. But first, bring your mic closer. Bring your mic closer. I really want to hear what you got to say about this one. Really got to hear what you got to say about this one. I have an idea. I have a theory, but I have to hear your response first. Do you think it's a good idea for them to bring on Shaq, Chuck, Ernie, and Kenny to ESPN?
Not all of them, no.
Oh.
I think Ernie would be great on ESPN. I think Kenny would be great on ESPN. I don't think Shaq and Chuck should do ESPN.
What about ESPN specific? Is there something specific about ESPN? Or
the way Shaq and I already have an issue with how Shaq analyzes the game, which is the nigga is too busy to watch the actual games going on. I just don't like their formula. which it's all the sports shows for real, for real. A lot of these guys aren't really watching the games. But with Shaq and Chuck specifically, just the stuff they've been getting off over the years, I'm over it and kind of done with it. So it's more of a personal preference thing to me. I think they can just do their own thing to get that type of stuff off and press their agendas and not have to worry about having your suit buttoned up to get these dumbass takes off versus just boot up the Shaq podcast and talk about how every center sucks compared to you. Or Charles Barkley, start up the Barkley pod to call San Antonio women fat. Like, I don't know. But going to ESPN to do it, I just feel like it'll cause too many problems.
I 1000% agree, and that's why I wanted to ask you. I honestly think he's too marketable. He's too brand friendly. He's all this, that, and the third. I think Shaq wants to be Gilbert Arenas.
So bad.
I think Shaq would blend so well with the on Gil's Arena. I think that is who his true personality is, et cetera, et cetera. But because of his marketability, brandability, all that, the friendly stuff, it's very toned down. It's different on ESPN. Mm-hmm. Now, my counter, take off, because they also earn the most money out of those four. I would think that Shaq and Charles Barkley, and also there's a conversation about Charles Barkley being low key on the Gil's Arena side too. Take off them two, they demand the most money. Deal or no deal, you get Ernie, you get Kenny. We also bring in Skip Bayless. Deal or no deal?
That show ain't hitting. Nah.
Is that its own show? That's all I'm asking.
No. Not its own show. ESPN has X amount of dollars to spend. Shaq and Chuck are going to demand 75% of the money. I'm being so honest with you. They're going to demand like 75% of the money.
Okay.
You cut that out. You get Skip Bayless back on First Take. You can get Kenny. You can get Ernie. And you can get some of these other players. You know, Doc Rivers may or may not be with the Bucks midway through the season. You got yourself a new inside the NBA.
They already said they're not working with Skip.
You know what's funny? You know what's funny, B-Souls? Why is it that Stephen A. isn't vouching for Skip Bayless right now? Nobody's talking about that. I seen what he said. Why is he not? And the reason why I asked that is because he talks so much about how he owes everything to Skip. Actually, him and Shannon talk about that. I think this is interesting. They talk about how much they owe to Skip Bayless. Skip Bayless brought them on TV. Stephen A. will talk about how there was nobody vouching for him. Skip Bayless stuck his neck out there for something that people really, like at the network, didn't think would work, and they revolutionized TV. Same thing with Shannon Sharp. Now when the tables are turned, Skip Bayless is looking homeless, and they won't stick their neck out for him. I think that's a little crazy. I'm not gonna lie.
Or maybe they just don't want to work with Skip.
Or maybe they lied.
I think it's either one of three things. One, exactly what you're getting at, that hey, them niggas don't fuck with Skip no more. Or you call them snaky or not, they just don't rock with them. I think it's it could be two, where it's just like what's said don't need to be said, whatever the fuck saying is, where hey, we've said a million times we love him, we're not gonna say it again. But I think it's honestly three. Hey brother, I love you, I cannot work with you. Shannon just got out of that, and Stephen A., whether you think he got better or worse without Skip is up to you, but Stephen A. has had a hell of a career without Skip as well. I think they both realize, yo, the last thing we need to do is just run it back. Yes, it would be great for the fans, but nah.
I'm not talking about working with him though. Like Skip should probably have a job. He should at least have a legacy job somewhere.
Oh yeah, the fact that he doesn't have a job is shocking. Yeah.
He should have a legacy job somewhere where like Jason Whitlock is on some sports network that no one's ever heard of. They're capitalizing off of the fact that he's there and he needs a job. Other than that, I mean, I think there's a mystery option 4 that Sage didn't address. Hey man, we can't vouch for you.
True.
Listen, I've been in the board meetings. We took the votes. It was 10-2. The two hands was me and Shannon. We lost.
Anybody want to skip? Yeah. Oh,
matter
shit.
of fact, they put up both hands. They said, "All right, 10-4. There we go." Yeah, I mean, I hate
Nah,
that.
that's
though.
a good one. Fair enough.
Yeah.
He did it to himself. He did it to himself. So
I don't think Skip got enough pull too to be a valuable asset for ESPN. I don't know.
I think
Like his numbers right now are not helping his case. That's all.
Nope.
I'm saying.
I think Skip could like be a option to pop in every now and then on First Take rather than be like a main star of it. But I think because he's Skip Bayless, that ain't never gonna be a thing. Like we would want to be and or have to be the main star of the show.
Okay, so let me say this. Let me say this, and this is why I think ESPN would even want the Inside the NBA TNT group on there. First of all, great show, fantastic show. I think they dropped the ball. Another thing that's not talked about is ESPN is Disney now, and some of the stuff that Shaq and them were getting off is not Disney appropriate. So I don't even think that pairing would really necessarily work. But if we can agree, ESPN is really First Take. I know they have Get Up. Get Up has not stuck like, remember Sports Nation was on there, like the show before. Like Get Up has not really for real. And then I really don't even know. I don't know if they show PTI. I think they do still show PTI. I think they do still show Around the Horn, maybe, because I think I seen a clip of it the other day. But again, it's just First Take. They have Countdown, which is cool. You telling me Skip Bayless can't go somewhere on here? I'd rather see Skip Bayless than the Inside the NBA crew. That's the way I feel.
I ain't gonna lie, you made a hell of an argument. You made a hell of an argument for ESPN to want Inside the NBA though, because by that logic, hey, we need another show so people don't tune out at 12. Inside the NBA at 8 p.m. or whatever fuck that sounds like the cash grab to me. I ain't gonna lie.
But at that point, if you want to bring on Inside the NBA, then literally you're cutting every show that's not First Take and Pat McAfee. And that's literally where all your money is going.
Oh shit! Yeah, you did
Inside
forget
the NBA, Pat McAfee, and the First Take. And if you want to turn ESPN into sports MTV, where you're about to be rehashing 79-hour marathons of ridiculousness, like I guess, like all right, there's only
that's
so
all
much.
they want. That's all they want. I'm actually gonna say hell yeah. That's all they want. Cartoon Network did that shit. I know it's a completely irrelevant network, but
that's not irrelevant. What you're saying is true. They just started.
Teen Titans Go was
thank you.
Teen Titans Go from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. All right, Gumball did drop. All right, now we back on the TTG. Like that's all they want.
Apparently Nickelodeon did it with SpongeBob as well, and then I don't think Disney. I like looked at Disney's programming. I went on the TV Guide and went across, and I was like, this looks about the same too. So networks are doing that, and I guess there may be an argument of Get Up, First Take, Pat McAfee, Sports Center, over and over again. Maybe a story here and there, and then boom. Inside the NBA crew, and we're gonna be working y'all. Y'all got before the early game, before the East Coast game, all the way way into the late night, and then we Scot Van Pelt at like 2:30 in the morning, and
that'd
we
be
just
the
gonna
real
rinse
thing.
and repeat.
Y'all think Skip even wants a job at this point?
Probably
Yeah.
not.
I checked his age. I forgot. I think he's like 78,
I feel like Skip's
bro.
the guy that just get bored though. Like I understand he's old, but I feel like he'd get bored.
Like I understand he had that quote of, "All right, I'm putting my career over my girlfriend." Well, at that time, told Ernestine, like, "Yo, I'm putting my career over everything." But I feel like with the career that he's had, unless money is really short for him, I mean, no shame in retiring now at this point, man. I ain't gonna lie. 72. Chat said 72.
Not even retiring. I just feel like he's at a point now to where he's grown past it, or the game's grown past him. If he wants to do something, I genuinely think we're going to see a Skip Bayless podcast, or you're going to see Skip Bayless on the fucking Volume Network on YouTube or some shit. Like he's going to go do something like that. I don't think he's not messing with mainstream media TV no more. He's too deep in the game, and the game's past him. Like I said,
I will say, and this is the way that they're saying it'll break down. I got two things. They're saying it's about to be on a lot of different networks. They said like Monday the games could be on Peacock, Tuesday NBC, Wednesday ESPN, Thursday Amazon, Friday ESPN/Amazon, Saturday ESPN/Amazon, and then Sunday NBC/Amazon. And I think a lot of people have issue with it being streamed everywhere else. But I have been looking at some of the stuff that was talking about the difference between NBC and ESPN when ESPN took over after NBC had it in the 90s. I'm excited for the potential storytelling and, you know, relationship building that could potentially go on these other networks. I'm excited for that.
Yeah. Let's go back to cable, man. I ain't gonna lie. I'm tired of this shit.
You say that, and then you scroll
Give me one payment, bro.
and you scroll through channel 287. Like, bro, I have not found a channel I like. Why am I paying $85 for 279 channels I don't watch? And then you're gonna be asking.
There's the reason that people started Roku's and shit, my boy.
Yeah.
But even right now, like I'm paying for Netflix, and there's a bunch of shows that I don't. Isn't that the same thing? Like, I'm not watching this.
I mean, that's always going to be there if you unless you buy something that allows you, unless there's a platform that allows you to buy a specific show, there's always going to be a thing. However, with cable, it was a scary, overwhelming majority of shit that you don't care about.
And you were paying way more. That was the biggest issue. You were paying a lot of money for a bunch of shit you didn't need when realistically, yeah, you're paying for Netflix, and Netflix did raise their prices, but Netflix itself, $8.99, $12.99, whatever it is, compared to paying $60, $70, $80 for cable. I understand now when you have Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, Peacock, everything like that, it might build up, but still, realistically, how many streaming services do you have? 2, 3?
And on top of that, you had to watch it live, and then they charged you for on demand.
Ultimately, if all the I get what Bezos is saying. Apparently, Amazon can do better packaging than all these other places, you know, Prime TV, et cetera, et cetera. But if this just gives more opportunity for different content that is NBA centric, I'm all for it. If this gives what's not 30 for 30 E60s again. E60 because I know ESPN is E60. But if this talks about Ja Morant's upbringing, if this is highlighting the battles that Zion went through last year or the transition from the foreign players and stuff like that, if this is highlighting some of those things that we can get back to the storytelling and, you know, stuff like that, or just different creators having different opportunities, I'm all for it.
Yeah, I think this new generation needs, and I understand we're gonna watch regardless, but I think this next generation needs like its own visual aesthetic, the same way the 2000s had its own, the 90s had its own. I think recently, the most visually aesthetic thing that I've seen change in the NBA was going from Adidas to Nike. I think that was a pretty big change when that shit happened. But in terms of presentation, I'm welcoming in, you know, Amazon getting into the business, NBC getting back. Like I'm for it.
Are you saying that we of all generations don't have any aura?
We're just trying to rekindle the old aura. That's all. We need new aura. That's it. That's it.
Everybody needs new aura. Oh,
Yeah.
y'all know? Are y'all watching Deadpool versus Wolverine this weekend?
I will.
Yeah. Bought my tickets earlier.
I got
man.
to tee up on the superhero shit. I'm the only one that's not. Shocking, right?
They said it was rated as a 52% on Rotten Tomato.
Oh no.
1 point higher than The Flash.
So they didn't like the outcome, or was it just bad?
Davis said it's movie of the year though.
Oh my god, you watched the Eternal.
You caught me. I'm like, what the fuck? You just
Shout out Davis, man. I seen this tweet earlier. He said, "Oh my god, movie of the year."
I'm gonna tell y'all something right now. Tomorrow, really through this weekend until I get to see it. My girlfriend comes into town, literally right after this pod. I will be off Twitter. I need to consume that. I know the TL is gonna be full of spoilers, and I don't need to be a part of that nonsense.
And the opinions, man.
Yeah,
Fresh slate, man. If I like it, I like it, and I'm sticking to it.
yeah, that's on me.